Good day, everyone. We are the Group 10 presenting the case study number 10, Overseas Outsourcing of Medical Transcribing. The following is a discussion between Chris Boss, CEO of Good Hospital, and MD Noitol, the medical director at the same time hospital in Brisbane, Australia. Chris met MD in the hallway early one Monday morning.
Good morning, MD. I read a report in the Financial Times this morning that many hospitals and doctors are now sending medical files overseas to be typed up. The article says that it is cheaper, but I see a number of problems. I am especially concerned about privacy issues. How can medical histories remain confidential if they are being sent halfway around the globe? And what about the language barrier? Can we guarantee the exact details being translated by the people who do not normally speak English? Have you heard of this?
Good morning, Chris. Yes, I've heard of this. We know that many things are now done in a global network. So whether it is reading the X-ray reports or recording bank transaction or transcribing medical transactions, it is certainly going on.
How many hospitals are sending records overseas to be typed up?
Well, I really don't know the numbers. I would imagine that it is a pretty large number of hospitals. And the reason for that is they are trying to downsize the medical administration within the hospitals.
But if we were to do this, how could we be absolutely sure that what one of our doctors says in a report is actually being translated correctly?
Well, the same errors in transcription would occur whether the transcriber sits here or sits in India or sits...
No, this is going overseas to Malaysia. Surely the risks are increased unbelievably.
Well, the risk will be based on the quality of the recording, the quality of the decoding at the other end, and the person at the other end who is doing the transcribing. But that's comes back to basics. If you're sending work out, you've got to be assured whether you're sending it to be transcribed, that it is a secure environment, and that confidentiality is maintained. And when it comes back to you, you have to check it. And of course, we've got to have a secure environment on our end. I don't think that we will have the whole 3 inches of somebody's medical file going to and fro on the internet. We'll only have the recordings of conversation, which needs to be transcribed as a letter of recordings of findings. Nonetheless, it has got to be confidential. We would have to make sure that confidentiality is maintained throughout this whole process.
You don't have a problem with this then?
I have a problem if it is not done in a confidential way designed to maintain patients' privacy, or if the transcribing is not checked. We also need to make sure that the IT environment that we have actually allows us to share that information and send the reports securely over the internet.
How much cheaper is it?
The cost of doing this electronically compared to having somebody here would obviously vary on the size of the job. But obviously, there are cost savings. Otherwise, it wouldn't be done. I suppose there may be some efficiencies in time because if you finish your work at 6 p.m., here, you can send it to somewhere else in the world where it is several hours earlier. Then when you go back to work the next morning, it is done. And besides, it is hard to find people in Brisbane who even want to do medical transcribing.
So, do you think we should look into medical transcribing here at Good Hospital?
Good day, everyone. I am Hani Sibal Disanso, and I'm going to discuss the summary of the case study, Overseas Outsourcing of Medical Transcribing. So, the dispute is centered around the outsourcing of medical transcription overseas, in which hospital transfer patients' record to be transcribed in another country. The accuracy of the documents being translated and the patient's right to privacy are the two issues that Chris, the CEO of Good Hospital, is particularly concerned about. Additionally, the likelihood that notes from a different English-speaking nation were transcribed for your medical records if your medical records department outsources its transcribing is rising. However, MD Noital, the medical director, says that this approach is already used in a global network and that the medical hospital use it to save money. And if you are sending the paperwork to another country ahead of time, it will already be done when you return to work in the morning.
Problems. Since transcribing takes place internationally, the distance frequently causes issues with miscommunication, timeliness, or lack of concentration, issues that are much easier to resolve when the employee in question is nearby. Alternative courses of action. Number 1. A hospital whose medical records are outsourced overseas would be well advised to spot check the records for accuracy. Number 2. They should hire more local medical transcriptionists so that there will still availability of jobs in the near future. Number 3. Some foreign transcriber doesn't understand all the slang words used by English-speaking country, so they should hire more transcriber that understands them more and can give an accurate transcription.
Good day, everyone. I am Agnes Tria Abellinosa. For the conclusion, since good hospitals' main objective is to save money by outsourcing medical transcription work overseas, they must first ensure that the transcribed documents are accurate. However, in some cases, errors may occur due to language barriers, so they should hire local transcriptionists while also maintaining the accuracy of transcribing.